Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio. Ours is a place where dreams take flight, voices are heard, and stories are shared. This is where cultures meet, connections are formed, and ideas are transformed into action. This is your destination for authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives, and meaningful conversations. We're where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover our world of education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our USA Global TV channel and download our USA Global TV app. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. With heartfelt thanks to our executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, music scored by Yifei Tang from Cloud Road Music, creative direction by Paul Garcia, and I'm Al Cini, and I'm very proud to be part of the USA Global TV and Radio family. So join us here at USA Global TV and Radio. Make us your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Thank you for being a part of our global community. Let's inspire together.
Hello and welcome to another fabulous episode of The Business Show here on USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. I'm going to be introducing my co-host, and then we have a fabulous guest. So my question for you is your business truly being guided by strategy, or are you operating on instinct, habit, or what's always worked before? We're going to explore this and so much more as we get into our show today, why every company needs an advisory board. First, let me introduce my co-host, dear friend and mentor. His name is Al Cini, and we have been working together in television since 2019. He has been part of major networks across the world. Most of them have 3 or 4 letters. Figure it out. I'll give you time. In the meantime, he is one of the co-founders of ProFit for Teams. Let's welcome Mr. Al Cini to the program. Hello, Al. Good to have you.
Dr. KERBECK, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for having me today.
Thanks for coming back again and again. So before we get into our topic, what is it that you do at ProFit for Teams, and how can you help people?
ProFit for Teams is a team development program that, and we don't call it team building because we go beyond that. What we try to do in ProFit for Teams, what we actually do, is help a team discover the collective personality that represents who they are when they're doing their best work on their best day. Then we use that as the core, that data, really, it's very data driven. We use that as a core for a series of workshops that align everybody with each other, and not just with each other, but also with the goal that they're trying to achieve. And it's very accelerated and it's very scientific, but the science is hidden under the hood, and it's a great experience. And that really is what ProFit for Teams is about, and easy to find. So I hope people will reach out. I also want to say too that there's an element in ProFit for Teams that was added, let's say, a couple of years ago when we expanded the model a little bit from an earlier version, and Lisa Manioki helped discover it and take advantage of it. It's called the connector element, and our guest today embodies the connector element. Candida Cisak is the center of the business universe in the Philadelphia area, and has clients, in fact, all over the country, and knows people all over the world. And she is the ultimate connector. She's the person who, when you tell her you've got a problem, can find the people who can help you solve it, can offer the solutions that can make the difference. And that's what made it possible for her to assemble a mission impossible team of people in eLab, a huge portfolio of potential advisors for companies to help them in a wide variety of topic areas. And that's why I'm looking forward to this conversation.
I'm super excited as well. And for our viewers, we do have the website up and we will be sharing the link. So I did have the opportunity with you. I think we did interview her a number of years ago, didn't we? Maybe in 2020, 2021?
We did. And the world of Candida Cisak has only gotten bigger since then.
All right. Without further ado, let's welcome Candida Cisak. Hello. Nice to have you.
Hi. Good morning.
Candida, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for inviting me on the show.
Oh, it's great to have you. Great to have you here. Listen, Well, does connector describe you? I mean, you've got more friends and associates than any other human being I know. And you know enough about each of them to be able to pull them together to solve problems for people. It's amazing to watch. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about ELAD, which is the um,
Purpose of this?
solutions firm that you've created.
Yeah, no, ELAB came about in 2014, October 17. We started in August gathering information whether it was worthwhile having an organizations of executives that would be advisors. And after I wrote to 30 CEOs, they answered and said absolutely. I called a breakfast at the Four Seasons. 28 of them showed up, and that's what started the organization. So we've grown since the last time I've talked to you, in the sense that now we are executive leaders for advisory board. We're service marked. We're a 501c6. Most people will refer to us as the matchmakers of advisors to CEOs. Because we're a 501c6, we do not accept money from the CEOs that engage our advisors. We only have dues for the advisors who are in the organizations, because we provide different programs.
So there's absolutely no risk and no reason why anybody who think they might be able to get you to engage your team to get help should call you. Everybody should just call you. There's no reason not to call you.
I've often said that, but I'm the founder, right? So
Yeah.
why don't people call? Because basically they get these executives, and if you look at their profiles, they're amazing, amazing executives. They've sold companies. Some of them are on board of directors. They've been high-level CEOs or COOs of diversified companies, and basically they can provide that knowledge to help you strategically enhance your company, whether you're growing it or whether you want to sell it someday. That, to me, there's no reason why you shouldn't have an advisory board, either of 1 or 3 people. We like the odd numbers. You can have 2. And basically engage their brains for a small retainer to support your company's growth.
It's amazing, and it's like it ought to be a public utility. You should just be able to plug into it. It's just great. And but before we get started, I know Dr. Jacalyn has a ton of questions, but I have one question to set the stage for this. What is the difference between an advisory board and let's say a fiduciary board, or a board of directors?
A fiduciary board is that. It's governance and fiduciary. Basically, it's a different liability, et cetera, et cetera. An advisory board is you hire or you engage these advisors to help with the strategic growth of your company through operations, through financials, through sales. They advise you. They're not governance, even though all of us take it personal in a sense. We try to govern, but the fiduciary part is not there. Oh. Even though, again, if you've been in business, you always have an element of governing your board and being responsible fiduciary for the CEO and the growth of the company.
And so an advisory boards come and go, and they change they could evolve over time as your needs change.
It depends. Yeah. It's if you change your advisory board every 3 years, you're not getting the value. You should have them depending on what the program is, or the strategy, or the journey. If you want one to help you build a strong company so you can sell it, that could be 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Unless you're selling fast and you don't care what the amount is. If you want a board to help you going from 2 million to 10 million to 20 million to 100 million, you want to keep the consistency of the board. Some might opt out after 3 or 4 years and you get another advisor, but the value of the advisory board, whether it's the same 3 or the same 2, is the fact that they're there to support the growth of the company. And all of them have tremendous connections and value, whether the connections are for business or the connections are depending on what you need. Like I have a situation now, they need a CFO. Well, there's some that we work with that we're very comfortable with. We know they have good business sense besides financial sense. So when you get an advisor to tell you, look at these 2 people, they might be good for your company. You know that they've tried them before, they've used them before, and they value the work that they bring.
That's great.
Thank you
So,
for
Dr.
that.
Jacalyn, you can call Candida.
Yes, absolutely. So I've interviewed thousands of business owners, and one thing, the theme that I hear commonly again and again, is that they're not willing to give control away in any manner. They're just micromanaging every single aspect. So the thought of an advisory board might be a little overwhelming. What would you say to them about how to break through this and really embrace having an advisory board?
Great question.
When an advisory board advises you, you don't give up control to them. It's not a board of director. The fear usually comes with a board of director. I do sit on a board of directors, usually assigned by a judge, because they have to have a board for usually private boards. But a board of advisors, you choose those advisors as an extension of what you need to achieve. And you probably can't even afford to hire one of them directly. So the fact that they will do it on a retainer and give you the advice necessary for your growth, which should be strategic, it should be operational, financial, people, and so forth, I can't understand why somebody would say, I don't want to give up control. As a founder of a company, you don't give up control, but if you don't have the best independent advisors around you, you could lose traction. And I have so many stories that I won't bore you with, and I have so many good stories.
They're not boring. How many people in ELAB? How many resources can you draw on to build an
That's
advisory
an
board?
intrinsic question. It doesn't matter what I've been doing for the last 12 years, and we're our 12th year, is that I lose 3, I gain 4. So it always runs between 40 and 44. Maybe it's my lucky number. This year we have a new chair. He was on the board with us, and we decided the founder decided she needed to just be the founder and not the CEO. So we have a new chair, and he's driving the organization, new thoughts, new ideas. We had our 10th anniversary. We're having our 12th summit. I just never understand why people don't have advisors.
Well, what are the maybe we need to educate them. What are these 44 people that work in ELAB? What are their specialty areas? Give us a quick summary.
Okay. They don't work in ELAB.
No, I know they're assembled into ELAB.
Members of ELAB.
But what do they know that the typical CEO doesn't know and that they can help with?
Well, unless the typical CEO has 30 years or more experience, and unless they've bought and sold companies, unless they've been CEOs or COOs or CFO of corporate, they probably don't know as much as these guys do. Guys, girls, whatever you want to call us. These advisors are well informed on a company. They get to know your company. They get to advise you. They're independent thinker. They're not, they're on a retainer, so it's not a salary. They're not singing the same tune. They're supporting and helping.
And are you, Dr. Jacalyn is kind of scrolling through the who's who of ELAB. And I know a lot of these people, and they're great people.
She just scrolled through me when I was younger.
Time goes by fast, doesn't it? I just wanted to quickly go through the website. So I think you brought up a lot of good reasons why people should consider this. And I think something else as a business owner myself is we go through ebbs and flows. And at some point you realize you can't do it all yourself and you don't know what you don't know. And you just spoke about a retainer. So it sounds like you get this massive brain trust for paying a retainer fee, as opposed to if you actually had to go out and hire these people individually, it's not something that people might be able to do. Is that correct?
Yes. And usually the CEO picks the advisor. We have a process called Catalyst. But I have a question. Can I change my background so you can see the logo?
Yeah, absolutely. You can.
Is it the avatar? Is it the avatar that I
No. You go down to the gear.
It's the gear icon at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, there's a gear for StreamYard.
There's a gear, okay.
Yeah, a little gear shaped thing next to the red button on the left side of the red button.
Oh, there.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can just go to virtual background and then you might have to upload it. So while she's doing this, what are your thoughts, Al? You actually have been on financial advisory boards, correct?
I have been
Financial advisory boards, operational advisory, on a residential board, which in New York, which was a challenge. Let's just put it that way. And a board membership is a responsibility, and it's a huge opportunity. So the board members benefit from this too. It's not just the customer that benefits from this. It's a really great synergistic way of working together to broaden everybody's perspective on
right. And
future alternatives.
Secure that the growth of the company is healthy, and secure that if you would like to sell it, you get it for the proper dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? The catalyst process, which you knew, Al, is the growth company catalyst. We renamed it Catalyst. There's a process that nobody else has on how we have the CEO pick the advisors that are more beneficial to them. So it's not just who wants to be an advisor to that company. There is a whole process that is being used to have the CEO choose the advisors that are, well, first of all, they have to be simpatico with the CEO. That helps. And then they have to be able to support the CEO in his mission, his or her mission.
A little later on, I'm going to ask you how you got into this, because I've known you for quite a while, and I've watched you go through some pivot points in your career, and it's been amazing to watch. It's really incredible. But for now, I think I want to zero in on the companies that ought to call you. On your website, you could be a company that's stuck or stalled, or you could be a company that's doing well but wants to reach that next level. Talk about that a little bit, because I think those are all great opportunities.
I like the companies that want to reach a next level. If they're stalled, that's fine. That's a good challenge. But if they want to grow, if they want to take care of their employees, if they want to reach a certain market, strategy has to be a part of it. And strategy is like any race. You try it, you do it, and then you stay the course. But when you stay the course, there's always obstacles, and you have to know how to move around those obstacles. If you have a good strategy, you can move without losing sight of the vision of what you're trying to achieve with your company. And a board will keep that on target. Because their interest is not how much they'll make. Their interest is how much can they help this company get there. So it's also a community service in a sense, because their retainer would never, what they got, if you look at their history, their career history, or if they had a company, a retainer does not fulfill any of that. They're doing it purely to make sure that our companies that are in a small zone under $200 million, even though the company I sit on is $300 million, does grow successfully, does support the employees, does support the strategy and the vision.
Yeah, it's great.
When do you think is a good time to bring in an advisory board? Is it in the beginning? We talked about being stalled, the next level of growth, but for each company that might look and feel differently, especially in the beginning when business owners are purely in the tactical, as opposed to not looking at the big picture. It's like, oh, I have so much to get done, right? I'm wearing all these hats. So when's a good time to bring you in?
The moment they realize that they need executive advice to take the company to the next level. Usually they're in the business as opposed to working the strategy of the business, and they can't get anywhere. They have business, they don't have business. Whatever structure they have is not positive enough to take them to the next level. Usually we get, at least I get, maybe it's my white hair, I don't know, but companies that the owners are about 60, 65, and they want to sell. They want to prepare to sell. They want to get the best value. I do get companies that are knocking their head against the wall because they can't grow. And usually it's to me, because of my experience, and to any advisors, you can pinpoint pretty fast what is stifling their growth. Anytime a CEO thinks about, I need help, that's when they should look into would an advisory board fit their thinking.
I was, Dr. Jacalyn, when you asked that question, my first instinct was to look at my watch. And I don't see a time on my watch that says now, but now is the time. I mean, as soon as you think you might need it, you need to make the call. That's when you need to find out. And I can't, and on top of that, a conversation with candidate will teach you so much. And you could learn what you need to do next just from the beginning of a conversation like that. And you've also got candidate on your team. You've got HR people, technology people, legal advisors. I mean, you've got a huge range of expertise to draw on, don't you?
Yes, we do. And again, when there's a company that needs an advisory board, we send out the call through email. It is a private process until we have the mix of 6 to 10 people that think they can help that company. And then we go through a process there. And then we go through a process with the CEO. After that process, which is all together on Zoom, the 6 advisors that match closely what the CEO is looking for, then the CEO gets to talk to the individual advisors, and they get to pick either 1 or 3, depending on the size of the company. So we guide them throughout the whole process, but they choose what's best for themselves.
And from the other perspective, what if someone's watching today and they're thinking, oh, I'd like to join her team. I'd like to join eLab. How do I get considered to be an advisor?
I usually get an email or a connection from somebody I know that says, I'd like to be an advisor. I looked at your site. It usually comes from a friend or a colleague. And then I go through my own screening. I call them my Italian screening. We have a conversation as opposed to, it's not an interview. Most of them are so well educated and executives, it's not an interview, it's a conversation of what they're looking for and what value they can get from the organization besides the value they can bring. And then it goes to the board. 3 members of the board have their conversation, which is always different than the founder's conversation. And the person decides whether it's good for them or not. And then we go through a welcome process, so forth and so on. Great.
And whenever they have their meetings, they always have their meetings in a nice place with great food. So it's a terrific social opportunity as well as a terrific professional opportunity.
And we're back to having 2 or 3 lunches a year. And the summit is November 6th at the Radnor Hotel.
That's
very nice.
Very nice. And so, Candida, when you were 6 years old in Italy, and everybody else was playing with dolls and trucks, you were thinking someday you're going to found eLab, right? I mean, this started when you were. Catch us up on the whole history of how you ended up creating this terrific organization.
I had a company, CTS Associates, and I've had 3 companies. One I sold to Deloitte back in the 70s. Another one I sold to Grant Thornton back in the early 90s. But I never lasted very long in corporate. Just the way it was. And I never got sad when I had to leave. I never looked back at my career as I should have done this and should have done that, because if I lost a job or decided the job was not for me, I'd start a company. So in 2002, the same thing. I think I lost my job for whatever ungodly reason there was in corporate. Who knows? Basically, I decided, okay, I'm not going back to corporate. I'm going to start a company. I started CTS Associates, and what that is a lot of consulting for a lot of growth companies. And one day, one of my first clients says to me, "You're burning out of consulting. Why don't you build me a board? You're good at that." I already was sitting on a university board, a hospital board, and a couple of nonprofits. But those boards are the ones you give, not the ones that pay you. So, and I was sitting on a a board that was paying me almost a salary, because some boards, if they're public boards, they're quite good in financial parts. But anyway, I looked around when my client said that, and I said, you know what, I am burning out, but I love advisory. I don't love doing the work anymore. I just want to advise people. And I decided, you know what, this is probably a good time to figure out if any CEO would love to have an institution, a community, a service that lets them pick their advisors. It's just not ad hoc. So I wrote an email to 30 CEOs of large companies. 20 of them was large companies. 10 of them were $100 million companies. And they said, what are you waiting for? That was their one-liner, just even though it might have been a sentence. And I talked it over with two people that helped me at the beginning, Renee Smith and Larry Evans. And they said, let's plan this. And we planned it. And I invited them to lunch. No, it was breakfast at the Four Seasons, the old Four Seasons, where the fountain is. And 28 of the 30 came. And that was October 17th. It was a Friday.
Wow.
From there, when that Four Seasons closed, we went to the Rittenhouse. We followed the same breakfast procedure. We brought in speakers. I realized pretty fast that I'm quite good at starting things, and I'm also very good at saying, I can't take this any further. Why don't you chair this? Why don't you chair that? Why don't you chair this? And that's how I ended up having a board with chairs that basically headed different parts of the organization.
Yeah. Well,
really,
it's
most people are more intelligent than I am. I'm just.
I'd argue with that, but not here. We don't have the time. There are two superpowers that we're identifying here that I've always known Canada to have. And one of them is the ability to pull great people together. She is a natural magnet for talented people to get to know each other through her. That's the first superpower. And the second is she's brilliant at aiming them at something. After they're all pulled together, it's not just about having a party. It's about pulling these people together so that they solve problems for other people. And that's always been a gift. And eLab is kind of like the pinnacle of, I think, of all that, because I've never met a more talented group of people, more focused on solving problems for customers.
You know what's interesting? I don't write down who I need to connect to who. For example, I was in a chocolate shop because I love dark chocolate. And I ran into someone that I helped 15, 16 years ago. And he says, do you remember me? I said, yes. I helped you connect with so-and-so. He goes, do you remember my name? I said, no. And he started laughing. He says, you remember who you connect to whom? And of course, he introduced himself, and then we talked, and I'm helping him out with something else. And now he's ready to join eLab. I can remember who I connected to who, what year I did it, but sometimes I don't remember the name.
That's funny.
Yes, we all have our limitation in the memory end of it. And I never write down, if I meet an Al Cini and say, Al, you should meet this person. It's in my head. I don't write it down.
It's magical.
That's a real talent.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Really is.
And I recently had the opportunity to speak to a group of business owners, and the one thing that they had in common was they weren't able to get repeat clients, so that they didn't have a connected strategy where people were continuously coming back and coming back. And it seems to me that an advisory board can actually zone in on where they're missing the mark. Is that correct?
I know exactly where they're missing the mark. Yes.
Tell us more.
Well, if the clients aren't coming back, that means you don't have a good process to retain those clients. You always want to retain the clients that you want to retain. The ones you don't want to retain, that's okay, let them go. Because they burn energies when they're not good clients for you. You want to retain the good clients. There has to be a process. You call it marketing, calling customer satisfaction, call it whatever. But without that process, and it has to be consistent, and it has to be valuable on how you do it, and it has to be real. So there are processes to help you do that.
Excellent point. Thank you. I have one follow-up question, then I'll go over to you, Al. So I think we understand the value of being in our car and driving by a business and we say, oh, we see the marquee, we see the sign. Okay, there's a brick and mortar business. Many businesses have gone online and some of them are really only using social media. So for example, I know people, their entire marketing strategy is on Instagram. It's not us, but I know people that's the case. I'm sure that there are people at eLab who have experience with marketing, social media, et cetera, and can help business owners who are coming from this perspective as well, right?
Yes, we have actually on our board, we have John Koski from White Penny, which is a strategic marketing firm. And then he uses other people to do other things. But some companies are not made for the social media part of it. And consulting and advising, being an advisor, being on a board of director or a board of advisors, that is all word of mouth. There's a lot of trust that has to be placed on the people you bring in as your advisors. So it's not the social media end of it, even though we do post on LinkedIn and all that good stuff. But it is about I call it the underground network that gets you to a CEO that wants to have you on their board.
Thank you for clarifying that. And just to clarify further, people who have businesses and they're using social media, they can still come to eLab and apply to work with you as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, Al.
That was such a great question. I mean, I one of the things we're looking for on the business show are business people to talk to. And just in this conversation, I figure we've got 44 potential guests in all the members of eLab. And we definitely want to talk to each of them individually. I know many of them, and every one of them has a complete story to tell about how they have been successful in business and helped other people be successful in business. And that's the magic of kind of the CSAC, is to pull them all together into this thing called eLab, which I think is just great. So where do you see it going next? I mean, do you want to grow it? Do you want to spread it out to other areas?
Well, executive leaders for advisory board will grow on its own. We're not looking for members. We're looking for qualified advisors. So, and we're staying on the East Coast, even though some of our advisors, we have one in Kentucky, which I love because I love his accent. That's
Great.
I said that to him. You can join. You got the accent. And we have 2 or 3 in Florida. It's going to be a third one in Florida. They come up. They do all the series that are on Zoom, and they come up sometimes for the lunches, but they always come up for the summit, which is always, it's usually the end of October. This year it's November the 6th. So they don't feel like they have to be at every face-to-face meetings, but we left it on Zoom because the audience is there. And it gives flexibility too for us.
That's great. So your customers then are all over the area, not just in the Philadelphia area, but elsewhere in the country. Maybe you can profile that for us.
I think you know Tom Scuria. He does the outreach program.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he's still, I mean, he loves doing the outreach. He's a master of that. So he's presented at the Union League. He'll present to law firms, accounting firms, strategic exit partners. These are all places. Our advisors or members, whatever you choose, do go out to live events. And that's where we get the information back from.
Great.
I'm wondering for our audience out there, because there are people from all different walks of life when it comes to business. We talked about connecting strategy and how that can be a miss and people are not getting repeat customers through the door. What are some other blind spots that business owners might not be able to see that your organization can help with?
The organizational attachment, I call it, where they're attached to certain people in the organization, but those people are not functioning well for the company's growth. They haven't come out of the beginning years. They've been with the company. They're not growing with the company. And then the third thing is basically their financials. They don't seem to, I'm not sure if it's well informed, or they don't seem to understand that the financials belong to a company that can do your bookkeeping, your accounting, whether it's an interim CFO, usually a small company has an interim CFO, that knowledge is valuable to the advisors to help them make decisions.
That, it's just occurred to me too. I mean, sometimes people know why it is they might need ELAB, but often people don't exactly know why it is they need ELAB. They, like you said, Candida, they have blind spots, people in the organization that they like, that they're friendly with, who are good friends, but not necessarily good resources in the company.
Well, they're not good to lead the company to the next level. That happens.
So some changes sometimes have to be made there, and you can help with things like that. How about ego? How often do you run into an ego problem? And I notice you're smiling a little bit. How do you manage ego
I love my clients, but I don't think they would hire me unless they had an ego.
Okay.
The ego, and I think they're all multitaskers. I don't think they know how to do one thing at a time. So they usually have great egos. But as long as they're good people and they take care of their employees and have a good strategy, they can take all the credit for anything I say and keep their ego going. I sit on an advisory board that has a board of director, but I've always been the advisor to the CEO. And the CEO keeps me on the board of advisor. There's two of us on that board. The other person passed away. So, and they have a board of director. So once a year, the board of director allows us to step in and listen to the end of year board of director, whatever, which I find interesting. So there's lots of combination of having the advisors for the CEO. I've had CEOs that are going through personal problems that I've helped them out with, or medical problems, because I sat on the board for 25 years and I've had medical practices as clients. There's a wealth of knowledge they all have that you can't write in one bio. You have to talk to them to realize where they can help you.
That's a dimension that you've just sort of identified in ELAB. These are people that we're talking to and working with, not robots.
No.
So you've got to be more than just your title in the company. You're a human being and you're living a human life in the middle of all these business problems or issues you might be facing. And that's something I've always been able to count on, just knowing Candida as a friend. If I have any kind of a problem, I can call her and talk about it, and she'll have advice to offer and support to offer, and not always just business, which is, gosh, a good human being. And that's, I think, the ultimate reason why people want to pick up the phone and call her.
And engage any of the advisors. They have a wealth of knowledge. Okay, I'm the oldest in the organization. I think I've been working 61 years.
Congratulations. Think of how much.
It's funny, I'm older than some of the members. So, been a lie. But you can't put the knowledge between corporate and having companies and helping companies into a bottle. You can't. You have to talk to them to realize what they can offer. And some of them are very opinionated about things. But when they're talking to you as the CEO to help you, their opinion comes from helping you. You see what I'm saying? There's no hidden agendas.
Yeah, that's great.
Absolutely.
And I do want to say too, in terms of knowing Candida as I know her, while she's had years and years of experience in a variety of different roles for a whole lot of different businesses, between her ears, she's 23 years old.
Well, you see that picture? I'm not taking that off.
No, you keep that picture up there. Yeah, great.
Well, it's hard to believe, but we've already gone through our time for this episode, and we have been sharing your contact details. But what's the best way for people to get in touch with you, and who would you like to reach out?
They can get in touch with me either by email, which is my Comcast email, pjscts@comcast.net. I've had that for like 25 years. And my mobile number. I mean, I'm attached to my mobile, which does not make my husband happy at sometimes, but it is 609-471-1188. And I've had that since 1981 when it was my car phone.
Okay, is that 609-471-1188?
609-471-1188.
Okay.
And I do answer text, yes.
Yeah, it's funny when you said car phone. I remember I'm old enough to remember getting a fax machine because people said you need one. Yes. And I'm old enough to remember getting rid of it because everybody said, you still have a fax machine? So, yeah, and the car phones, you remember them? They used to sit in the console between the two front seats. Yeah. Oh, my God. And they made these horrible noises when you started the car. It was. I don't see machine in your contacts. That's a good time, though. That's great. So you know, it is just a pleasure talking with you always. And I really do strongly recommend, from my own experience, this is a person you want to get to know. I have your number on speed dial.
Yeah, I know.
Other people.
She's like, could you lose it, Al? Stop calling so much. No kidding.
Especially when he calls and doesn't want me because he sat on the phone or something.
Well,
again, the number is 1-609-471-1188. And we don't have the email address, so if you could drop it in the chat, that would be great. But thank you again for being here today. I really learned a lot, and we appreciate your sharing and hope that you'll come back and see us again.
I'm typing in my email.
Perfect.
Al,
over to you.
I remember this phone number, remember this email address. You may not know it, but you already need them. You've got to call her. You've got to reach out to her. You've got to find out how eLab can help. If you're a business owner, and I think Candida makes a great point. Your company might be very small. There may not be a lot of people in your company. You may not be making a lot of money in your company, or it might be a large company. It doesn't make any difference. You can benefit by having advice from people who are experts in various areas. And Candida has done a spectacular job assembling a Mission Impossible force of 40 plus experts in various areas that can help. So reach out to her.
So Al, one more thing. If eLab is not for them, I can introduce them to other people that might be good for them, whoever they are.
Yeah, thank you,
for sure.
The ultimate connector. And for our audio only audience only who will be listening to this later on a podcast platform, the email address is pjscts@comcast.net. All right.
Great.
The phone and the email are been with me for, I don't know, 30, 40.
I don't brag about this much, but I still have an AOL account.
I do too. Don't tell anyone.
I left it alone because basically with all the contacts I have, they're not going to memorize something else.
No. Yeah. You mean you're still at this number? I know, I hear that. This is still your number? Yeah. Why would it change?
Right. You got it.
Candida, thanks for your time today. I really
Thank you again for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. I really, truly enjoyed this. Thank you very much. Dr. KERBECK, Mr. Al Cini.
My pleasure.
Thank you. Bye. Al, thank you for being here. If people are interested in working with you and Lisa and your team at Profit, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you, and who's a good contact for you?
My phone number is 212-480-3730, and my email address is al@pro-fit4 teams.com. And you know, it's funny these days. It's hard. It's kind of hard to describe who want to call me because I'm having so many great conversations with so many people. My original understanding of Profit for Teams was that it solves organizational problems for middle managers in large companies who have teams of people that they manage, or for small companies that consider themselves to be a team. And I've always imagined that. It's a terrific kind of a team building experience. It's way better than the typical entertainment experience that people have. So we're a great way to solve the problem of, oh my God, I got a bunch of people coming in from all over the world in April. What can I do for them to get the ball rolling? We have a great solution for that. That's based on what's already in their people's heads. That's what's so interesting about it. But lately, I've been having conversations with people who see a bridge with artificial intelligence and a bridge with other areas. And that AI bridge is expanding at the moment. We're modifying our approach so that we work not only with people, but also with AI agents. If you can imagine it, the number one problem people have in companies when it comes to their people is the onboarding problem. What do I do when somebody joins? How do I teach them what's expected of them and what it's like to be here? We have a great solution for that. And it turns out that we're now tweaking our solution so that when you onboard AI like ChatGPT or Copilot, when you onboard an AI, we have a solution for that. Because when you think about it, really, if you're using AI correctly, then AI is part of your team. It doesn't replace your team. It doesn't replace the people on your team. It joins your team and helps your team be its best collective self that it can possibly be. And we have a way of teaching that collective personality to something like an AI bot. And it's turning out to be a pretty interesting series of conversations these days. So call me, I guess, and let's talk.
All right. Well, I'm closing out the show. Please drop your email address and your phone number into the chat, as we don't have them here on the screen.
Okay.
All right, everyone.
Okay, I will do that. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks for being here today. We really do appreciate it. If you have not done so, please do subscribe to our YouTube channels. We're streaming on many locations, but we'd love to have you as part of our community, USA Global TV and Radio, where we have earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award for over 100,000 followers, and Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. And just on a personal note, I do have a number of books that are coming out. One of them is a business book, Stop Giving Away Your Value. Are you giving everything away for free and wondering why you are not making any inroads or your business isn't growing? That book will be coming out shortly. But another one that's really near and dear to me, as my role in the Crohn's Colitis Foundation, being a board member and also being a fundraiser and also being a patient, is my new book that's coming out for children. It's called My Tummy Hurts. Take a look, and then we'll be back with our next program. Thank you again for being here. Bye for now. My Tummy Hurts by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Meet Jackie. She loves recess, running with friends and laughing on the playground. At school, Jackie tries to play like she always does, but suddenly the pain comes back. Lately, something feels different and her tummy hurts, sometimes a little and sometimes a lot. With the help of a caring teacher, a nurse, her mom, and a kind doctor, Jackie begins to understand what her body is trying to tell her. Sometimes tummy pain is more than a simple bellyache. Some children live with conditions like ulcerative colitis or Crohn's disease. Jackie listens to her body. She asks for help. She knows she's not alone. And Jackie finds her way back to running, laughing, and being herself. My Tummy Hurts, a kid's guide to bellyaches and bathroom troubles by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK, available on Amazon and in fine bookstores around the world.
Is it true? Is it kind? Is it necessary? In a world quick to judge, one book dares to reveal the hidden cost of silence. Discover holy but harmful, The Silent Sin of Judgment, How Hidden Judgments Destroy Relationships and Damage Lives by Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. The Amazon #1 bestseller that's transforming the way we understand ourselves and the way we see others. Pick up the companion workbook to uncover your own hidden judgments and learn how to break free from them. Available now on Amazon and at fine bookstores worldwide.
USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to TracyCramPerkins.com. Tracy Cram Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.